Why hello there friends, it's Emma here, the Bookish Princess. Today I am going to get my reading bullet journal, quotation journal caught up. I started this at the beginning of the year. If you've been watching my reading blogs, then you've probably seen me making some entries. I always thought it would be cool to have a log or journal where I just kept track of my reading throughout the year and put some favorite quotes and also made it pretty, put in some sketches, make it kind of artistic. This is also where I've been doing my Jane Austen character maps. I've done 3 out of Jane Austen's 6 novels, so I'm sure I will try to do the other 3 character maps before the end of the year, but I have fallen a few months behind on my quotations. So I sat down recently, got out my markers, got out my books, and added some pages. I'm always so torn when it comes to bullet journals because on the one hand, I think it's a really fun, just kind of creative escape and creative exercise, but on the other hand, it's like I want to make sure the drawings are perfect and the design is perfect and like the quotation that I picked out from the book is like the perfect quote, and then since it's just something I'm doing for fun, when I put that much pressure on myself and it becomes stressful, I just avoid doing it. So this time, I just kind of went with whatever idea I had, looked back through the books, and picked out whatever quote kind of spoke to me. Maybe it's not my ultimate favorite quote, but just some taste of what I enjoyed from the book. Done is better than perfect, right? Let's get to it. I read a book called A Spinner in the Sun back in May, and there were so many quotations that really inspired me that I wanted to copy in. So I thought a spider web theme would be perfect for these pages. If you want to hear me talk more about any of these books, you should definitely go back and check out my reading vlogs and reading wrap-ups. But the quotation from Spinner in the Sun that I copied out was, "From the distaff of eternity, you take the thread of your life, but you're sitting in the night, and God meant you to be a spinner in the sun. When the day breaks for you, you'll be finding the loose link to set yourself free." "When the day breaks," repeated Evelina in a whisper, "there is no day." "There is day. I've come to lead you to it. We'll find the light together and set the thread to going right again." My other quotation from A Spinner in the Sun, which is by Myrtle Reed, by the way, was about mountain peaks, so I thought it would be fun to do a little mountain rage. Down at the bottom, we are like a vast plain of mountain peaks. Some of us have our heads in the clouds always, up among the eternal snows. Thunder booms about us, lightning rives us, storm and sleet beat upon us. There is a rumbling on some distant peak, and we know that it rains there too. That is all we ever know. We are not quite sure when our neighbors are happy or when they are troubled, or when there is sun or when there is storm. The secret forces in the interior of the mountain work on unceasingly. The distance hides it all. I ran out of space, but I thought, well, the quote is about how the distance hides it all, so it's kind of perfect that I just wrote the rest of the quote over the mountain range. We never get near enough to another peak to see the scars on its surface, to know of the dead timber and the glacial drift, the precipices and the pitfalls, the barren wastes. In the blue shimmering distance, the peaks are veiled and all seems fair but our own. So we're finally on to the month of June. As you can see, I had a misstart to one of my Jane Austen character maps. So I had a mistake I wanted to cover up, and I had these old scrapbooking supplies that were very summery that I thought could be fun to use. I don't know, I'm not sure I love the way this page turned out. I feel like it doesn't match the style of the other spreads that I have, but it is very summery, very cute. On the first page, I just did the authors that I had read, and then I got into quotations on the next page. I read some Agatha Christie this summer. Here's the line I copied in from The Blue Train. Life is like a train, mademoiselle, it goes on, and it is a good thing that it is so. Trust the train, mademoiselle, for it is le bon Dieu who drives it. Trust the train, mademoiselle, murmured Poirot again, and trust Hercule Poirot, he knows. I also read Henrietta's War by Joyce Denise. It's set during World War II, both charming and inspiring. Here's my quotation. I am a great believer in the power of thought, she said. I take a big breath and shut my eyes and send great waves of hope and courage and confidence across the channel. And what's more, she said triumphantly, they get there. I've been on quite a Dorothy Sayers kick this year, so here's a line from Gaudy Night. I imagine you come across a number of people who are disconcerted by the difference between what you feel and what they fancy you ought to feel. It is fatal to pay the slightest attention to them. Last but not least, I had to add a line from Victoria Cottage by D.E. Stevenson. I just love D.E. Stevenson. Arnold was clever. He saw how unsettled the world was, everything slipping downhill. He said things were going from bad to worse, and he was right, of course. But it doesn't help to be miserable. It doesn't make things right to keep on grieving over them. It clouds the sun, that's all. One of my favorite things about the month of July and also the month of June were all the blue hydrangeas, both in real life and in Animal Crossing. So I thought I would take that as my inspiration for my July spread. I read The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas last month, and I just thought this was a neat description. Nothing makes time pass more quickly or more shortens a journey than a thought which absorbs in itself all the faculties of the organizations of him who thinks. We depart from one place and arrive at another, that is all. Of the interval past, nothing remains in memory but a vague mist in which 1,000 confused images of trees, mountains, and landscapes are lost. D'Artagnan in the story is traveling from one town to another and has a lot to think about. You'll have heard me talk about reading The Cloud Dream of the Nine by Kim Man-jung this summer, and here are the quotations that I picked out from that. His words were as irresistible as the lift of the sea or the falling of the autumn frosts. This daughter of mine loves the superiority of another as much as if it were her own, and reverences another's virtue as a thirsty soul seeks water. I had to give Dorothy Sayers' Letters to a Diminished Church at least one page in here. I enjoyed this so much. I would highly recommend it. And here we come up against the ultimate question, which no theology, no philosophy, no theory of the universe has ever so much as attempted to answer completely. Why should God, if there is a God, create anything at any time of any kind at all? The one person who might be able to give some sort of guess at the answer is the creative artist, and he, of all people, is the least inclined even to ask the question, since he is accustomed to take all creative activity as its own sufficient justification. I will give you one guess, just one, what inspired my August spread here. It was, of course, Dynamite, BTS's new single, which I have hugely enjoyed. I guess you could say that Dynamite has nothing to do with the books I read this month. Treasure Island and He Leadeth Me, which were the quotations that I added to this page, but they all coexisted in my August, so that's good enough for me. I do have an August reading blog, reading wrap-up coming, so I will definitely be filling you guys in more on what I've read this month. But Treasure Island was just a fun escape. The excitement of the story and the descriptions really pull you in. I have never seen the sea quiet round Treasure Island. The sun might be blazing overhead, the air might be without a breath, the surface smooth and blue, but still these great rollers would be running along all the external coast, thundering and thundering by day and night, and I scarce believe there is one spot on the island where a man would be out of earshot of their noise. He Leadeth Me is by Father Walter Chiswick. I've really been enjoying this one. There are movements of the soul, deeper than words can describe, and yet more powerful than any reason, that can give a man to know, beyond question or arguing or doubt, that digitus Dei est hic, the finger of God is here, and the name of that reality is grace. God does inspire men by his grace, does lift the heart, does enlighten the mind and move the will. Not all the logic and reasoned explanations of the theologians may serve to convince those who do not have the gift of faith of that reality, but it remains a reality. Well, there we have it. It feels really good to have my quote journal more up to date. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you've been reading. Make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned for my August reading blog and reading wrap up coming soon. Until then, I hope you have a magical and a bookish day. Bye, guys.